Hello, sports fans. This is Steven here for JustMyPicks.com, and I'm bringing you a special AFC breakdown of the AFC South. This division from top to bottom. I'm going to give you the winners, losers, and the just plain bad ugly out of this division. Coming in at number 4, the Jacksonville Jaguars, with Maurice Jones-Drew going through situations, their star wideout going through situations. It's just a mess to me. Ownership is in rambles. The Jacksonville Jaguars are pathetic at this point. And, you got Blaine Gabbert competing for a starting quarterback position. I don't see them winning more than 5 games this season. I'm not going to waste more time talking about them. It's a mess down in Jacksonville. I think what's best for them is them to move to Los Angeles and try to be a solid football team there, or go overseas to London. Because at this point, they're in an NFL purgatory. And they continuously make bad decisions drafting. They continuously make silly moves, in my opinion. So I'm picking them to finish 4th in the AFC South and not be a factor in any way, shape, or form. Moving on to number 3, Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans, they did improve their team this year by adding Pollard, who's created a stir on defense, talking about killing people on defense. But to me, I just don't see them being better. Chris Johnson is a shell of himself. He's talking about he still has another 2,000-yard season in him. I'm just trying to see you run for 1,000 yards at this point. Your offensive line is really not the same. You have Fitzpatrick as a backup now. You have the kid Lockhart from Seattle, Washington, that I really don't have trust in. I don't see the Titans as being a threat. They're number 3 in this division because there's not another space for them anywhere else. They're better than the Jaguars, but they're not better than the Colts or the Texans at this point. They are one of those teams that are teetering on being bad or just mediocre. So I don't look for them to make the playoffs. I don't look to them to do anything else. I just think that they need to rebuild properly. They need to get rid of Chris Johnson because he's clearly not going to be used to his potential. And try to retool that way and get draft picks for him or try to let one of those other running backs that they brought in, like Sean Green, do his job and try to build off that. So, coming in at number 2, the Indianapolis Colts. Having Andrew Luck says a lot. Losing Bruce Arians to the Arizona Cardinals will hurt, no doubt, but having Chuck Pagano in there and really showing what he can do. They won't sneak up on a lot of people, but Andrew Luck and the Colts developed a good bond last year. I know it was because of Chuck Strong and their coach going through a lot of the drama and things that he went through as far as battling his health. I'm grateful to God that he's still alive and he beat cancer. And now it's time to put in that work. Can they have a great season without having emotionally something to drive off of? Losing Dwight Freeney will hurt, but you still have Robert Mathis on that defense to lead that defense. The defense is getting better by the year. They're getting better in the offseason. I watched a couple of their workouts and a couple of their drills. Andrew Luck, his step from first year to second year is going to be a tremendous step. A lot of people talked about RG3 and Russell Wilson being the MVPs of their teams last season, but Andrew Luck, believe it or not, really did a lot more than RG3 and Russell Wilson did because he had less to work with. I know he had Reggie Wayne, but his core values and his core components, a lot of those pieces were not household names. I know in Seattle you had Marshawn Lynch. You had Sidney Rice. We've heard of those guys before. So for me, it's almost like you have to really look at, can Andrew Luck take that next step? And I think he can. I think he's a gym rat. I think he is constantly watching film, constantly trying to get better, and constantly trying to become the best quarterback he can be. He was tough as nails last season. He took a lot of hits, kept on getting back up, and he led his team to the playoffs. Most importantly, he learned a lot because against that game against the Baltimore Ravens where they lost, he learned valuable pieces of information, and he also learned to not force things. And I think that coming into this season, you will see a growth, you will see maturity, you will see change in Andrew Luck. And I think that by far this will be his best season that he's had. And I think he'll do better than he did last season, improving on his record-breaking numbers and breaking Cam Newton's numbers. Coming in at number 1, the Houston Texans. It's not a surprise. Arian Foster, Andre Johnson, Matt Schaub, adding Ed Reed to this defense Also, having that solid defense that they had with J.J. Watt. J.J. Watt is a beast. Let's face it, he's knocking down balls that quarterbacks are throwing, and his hands are so huge, he can catch those balls that are being blocked down, or he can even deflect them. So he's creating mismatches, and he's giving offensive coordinators nightmares. When you have to use tight ends, keep tight ends back, or shell a running back over to his side, that takes away from what you can do on offense against the Texans. So he is a one-man wrecking crew. Also, you have to look at them improving. Gary Kubiak also bringing in some weapons to help them with Ed Reed, who is a ball hawk who will make life easier on a lot of those safeties, and he'll teach them a lot of things. He'll also make the cornerbacks feel like they can take more chances. And let's face it, having Ed Reed back there is better than what they've ever had in Houston at safety. So I'm looking for the Houston Texans to not only win this division, but take that next step and really become a playoff contender, getting over the Tom Brady's of the world, getting over the Peyton Mannings of the world, getting over the Joe Flacco's of the world, and possibly going in for a Super Bowl title. This has been an AFC South breakdown of their division from top to bottom. You can check me out at justmypicks.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at justmypickstv. You can also check me out on YouTube.com/justmypickstv. Please share and subscribe on all my videos, and thank you for commenting.